each other all the time. We crash and burn
The live stream.
together. It's just part of what we do. And then after we've no-named them that with brass, I do positions, and they position and sing. And it is this. It is, so I just teach them, and this is how fast I teach it. And like, you can all have pretend trumpets or pretend euphoniums. And okay, here's first here's first position. It's open. Good job.
First position.
Open. Here, show your first position. Here's first. Here's second. Got it? Okay. So here's first. Here's second. Here's third. It's the first valve closest to your nose. I know we call it third, but it's the third position, but it's the first valve closest to your nose. The valves are numbered from your nose, 1, 2, 3, but the positions are different. Go back to first, go to second, go to third, and then fourth, just add the next one. Okay, back to the top. First, second, third, fourth, and now it's the second and third valve. It's this. It rocks. Fifth position rocks. Back to the top. 1, 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5. Kick it! Beastie Boy reference. Sixth position.
But go ahead.
Sixth position, and you kick it. It's not an option. You don't. If it don't work, you don't play that note. Can you imagine a clarinet going, well, that key doesn't work. I don't do that note. If your slide doesn't work, your instrument does not work. Okay, there. And then back to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kick it. 7. Kick it more, because it's more. You kick it more. If it doesn't work, you don't do it. And that's 7. And then I start with last chair, and I say, show them to me. If they get it right, it's like your first chair tomorrow. And if they don't get it right, I move to the next one. And I move to the next one until somebody gets it right. And the first one who gets it. There's my 2 minutes. I'm worried that was 3 minutes or 4. But that's that. Okay, our clinician you've already met. If you've been
Alan
here.
Fazuni.
Yeah. Mr. Alan
I think I
Fazuni.
got a trumpet.
Yeah, Alan Fazuni's flight was canceled completely. And I'm picking him up tonight after
And he was in
Texas.
Europe, is that right?
What?
In Europe?
He was flying for Rome, and then something got canceled somewhere. But he should be here tonight at midnight and performing and working with us starting tomorrow morning. So Dr. Garner, Professor Emeritus, was Director of Bands here at WT from 1963 to 2002. A friend and mentor of us all. But please welcome Dr. Garner. I got you.
Yeah. Is this on?
It's ready.
Can he use the microphone?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, finally, this is the video that I was supposed to have yesterday.
Gravity.
Don't hurt yourself.
Gravity.
Okay.
There we go. And you're good.
All right. So, now do I have a pointer to work on?
I will get that going for you.
Oh, okay.
Right now, for now, you can
That's
use,
all right.
you can use me.
It's all right.
You can.
Sir?
I'll do it.
Okay, well, remember I told you about the silly little song? Of course, I didn't stop making up the song. I did a little arrangement of it. I know you're dying to hear it, and I didn't want to disappoint you. Well, here we go. Oh, you forgot the,
Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
but this is the Count Basie ending.
Okay, here it comes again.
Do we sing along, Dr. Garner?
Let's do it. You're gonna get right. You're gonna get the right note in the right place. Let the right volume in the right style. Perfectly in tune with the beautiful sound. You guys don't even know who Count Basie was, do you?
Yeah.
Well, that's the way he ended back to everything he ever wrote with those 3 little notes. So the next thing, not going there just yet. Whoops. You know, I could, oh, it doesn't matter. The next couple of slides, I talked to you about I sent this to Donna O'Brien when she was, all this stuff, when she was at Gaddis Middle School in Clovis. I said, have some of your kids prepare this on their own and do a video of it and send it to me. Well, here is what she sent, this first one. And you may recognize that little girl on the left. She's a 7th grader. That's Alejandra Logado, you know her. So it's a little trio, and in this case, it can be any combination of instruments. That's Garrett on saxophone and Kyla on clarinet. They're all in college now, of course. And they, as it turns out, the flute is playing the third part. Could be anyway at all. So here, and I told Donna, don't help them any, whatever. It's entirely up to them to prepare this. And here's what they came up with. Well, I was thrilled with this, of course. This was shortly before the end of school. As it turned out, the two girls, Kyla and Alejandra, came to band camp, and I can hardly wait to ask them how they went about preparing it. And the answer was just stunning, I thought. They said, well, we first decided who was going to play what part. You know, they wanted to play any part. We first decided how the parts would, who would play what. Then we played our parts individually while the other two people listened and corrected mistakes. Now that, my friends, is the pure definition of learning, don't you think? And is that a pretty impressive result from a 7th grader and 2 8th graders? Now the next one, this is pretty cool too, I think. I did a little duet, and I thought I'm going to go through all 12 keys and do it in circle fourths. But I'm going to write it in such a way that nobody, it's a canon, and that nobody will be playing at the same time the other person does. Yeah, you can do that with an F, you know. Pause it. That's Alejandra on the left. On the right is Jessica. I go over there a lot, and one day I walked into Jessica, it was a big teaser. I walked in, she was going to put her bedroom. And I walked in and she said, oh, I was so excited when I heard we were having a clinician today. And I found out it was you. She did it better than that even. But anyway, so I wrote this. See, it's just one line, of course. But no, they're not playing us down at the same time at all until the very end. This takes pretty good calories. Can we go back to the beginning, do you think? She jazzed up the ending a little bit here. But the impressive thing, if you notice on that last note, the flute played it first, and the clarinet, of course, came in a measure later. The flute was a little flat, the clarinet, she brought it up instantly. And the important thing is, this is not easy to do. They did this entirely on their own, completely self-taught. Okay, and by the way, please don't hesitate to interrupt at any point. Oh yeah, the sight reading snippets. As I said, there are 100 of these. The page on the left is Mozart, as you see, and the page on the right is Beethoven. And you can hardly think of a famous great composer that's not there. And as you also notice, they're each 3 lines long. So Bill all read over Clovis. Seems to have gotten some good out of that. Well, we talked about that yesterday. I think we can go ahead. Oh my gosh, look who's in charge here. We're in big trouble now.
Yes.
Michael Roberts. Okay, here is chroma cranes. You know all about that. But let's move to the next slide. Now, this is the little duet that we tried to do yesterday. Okay, go ahead. No, go back. Yeah, hit the space bar. You want me to do that for you? Oh no, Michael. I tell you, the down arrow, what's the down arrow? Will take it to the next. Hey, is that it?
Oh my God.
Yeah. We pick out 2 kids to do it, first one, the other kids to do the other one, whatever. And we do it way slower than this, by the way, way slower. Now the next one actually works better, and we tried to do this yesterday. Here, oh, can you go back one?
Yes.
Huh. Well, I'll be darned. That is weird.
With solo?
Well, yeah. So let's hit this base. Arrow button. Huh. I looked at this last night. Okay, whack, rats. I've got another one where the soloist and the parts are a lot easier, and the soloist play alone. The band plays da 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 then they play a little variation in that key. And it's based mostly on familiar songs. I'm sure you notice a lot of that. And so that when the soloists are playing, they're playing by themselves in an imaginary band. These 2 kids get to stand up and play their solo at the concert. These 2 kids get to stand up. There's 2 kids. And they just love doing that. I do notice kids are a little different these days. I'm not only even sure that this would work now. I would hope that it would. We're going ahead and listen to this. We tried this yesterday. This is the trumpet solo. Now, if you were to do this, well, actually, it's been done one time, 3 or 4 years ago, at this very clinic. Dr. Tivelite and Mr. Fever and I don't know if you can see it. It says on these various parts 1, 2, and 3. So one of us would play 1, and they can play 2, and they can play 3, and then at the very end, we all play it together. But this right here, you'll hear 1 trumpet, but the last part you'll hear 3. There's one of the staff members that is a good enough player that they could do that, and if, with a microphone if needed, and they do it on a concert. The whole idea is we're trying to make vital stuff, in this case chromatic scale, more powerful, more fun. Let's see a show of hands. How many of you, either you yourself, or one of your colleagues has the chops that you could do, you or one of them could do this solo? Let's see. Yeah. And maybe I wonder about this, seriously do. Am I delusional? I do. I'd like a truthful answer. Tell me no, if that's the case. Would that have any possibility, do you think, if not in your situation, somebody else, to be a positive thing or not?
I think it's possible, yeah. I mean, I would probably give it to like a determined student who I know would like put forth that effort, you know?
Well, you know, if you're doing this in junior middle school band, maybe you got a trumpet like Cy Denning in high school who is the camp soloist this summer. Old Cy could do this with his hands tied behind him. Well, he would need one. But I mean, would that enhance the enjoyability for the kids or not? Why not? I don't know. You know, but far better than I. Okay, I'm not getting much of a reaction, so I think that's the other what I need. Thank you.
They might not know all the snippets that you put in there, because that's what's fun for me, hearing all the little.
Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Yeah, most of the kids might not know that.
Yeah, oh, well, what I would love to do, I told you yesterday. Well, I do this, of course, in my dreams. I do first pick out a snippet or two or three that is appropriate at difficulty for the level of the group I'm working with. Then tomorrow I say, okay, we're going to do number so-and-so. Who would like to teach us? What I want somebody to do is do what I did today, teach this to the band, but I also want you to do this. I want you to go to Google and look up Franz Liszt and give us a little 30-second to a minute lecture about this great composer. Tell us where he lived. Tell us a little bit about his life. I don't think it's a bad thing for kids to know that stuff, is it? In my world, it's great, but I'm not so sure about my world anymore. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, it seems it could be rather invaluable. But what do we got on here today? Okay, yeah, this is just a tetrachord. You remember we talked about, I didn't tell you this. The flutist's name, remember from the Kansas City Symphony, fellow in Monte Orchestra, was Lib Nolan, actually L.M. Nolan, they called him Lib. Shortly after Amarillo, they were going to Memphis or someplace. He and his wife were traveling in a car together. A car pulled out in front of them on the highway. They had a terrible accident. His wife was killed, and he was severely injured. You know, I was trying to find out, this guy is such an important person in my life. And I read that in a speech some years ago. I've got it on my computer desktop at home, and I read it every now and then. There's something else I didn't tell you yesterday that I realized last night when I got home and looked over the notes about developing techniques. I didn't tell you about solo. So, by the way, I got to work. I only worked with one of the high school flute sections today in the bottom band, the concert band, and we did quite a bit of the drill routine. And guess what? Really worked well. But what I didn't tell you about is solo soli. That's where I play, but you play, whoever's in charge plays your instrument. And I did that too today. So I go, dee da da dee da 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 dee da da. They repeat it. I do it again, da 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 dee. If they don't get it very well, I don't have to tell them. I just slow it down, da 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 da. They know it. They play it back. Or I might just start with da 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 da. They play it. You know, after it's okay, da 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 dee da da. Add a note or two. I tell them I'm doing that. They hear it. And so the solo soli technique, I think, is an invaluable approach to developing technique. It does require that you're a director be able to play his or her horn. Let me revise that. Her or his horn. Okay, I don't know, what do we got next here? Oh yeah, the tetrachord. Oh yeah, okay, this is a duet. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. Okay, this is kind of hard. But so the band plays the first four measures, two measures of the tetrachord. Da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 da. And somebody else is going dee da dee da 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 da. Somebody else is going da da dee 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 dee. Turning the scale and the tetrachord. We're going through the circle. I mean the arpeggio. We're going through the circle of fifths. You don't have to do it all at one time, right? Just do one a day, who knows. But anyway, so the band plays the first little set, and then two soloists. It could be multiple players, of course. That's what you see on the page, and we're going to hear it right now. So they don't have to. I'm imagining this being done by different players all over the place. It's kind of hard. Some of those are pretty tough. I think I also wrote an issue of it. You're middle school director.
Yes.
Do you think, is there anything that your two weakest kids there could learn to play? Any two measures?
I think that, like simplified, they can do tetrachord patterns like that.
No, I'm talking about the solo parts.
Oh, the last line looks approachable.
Yeah. Okay. So in my imagination, we've got various pairs of students playing each one of these, and when they do, this is at a concert, by the way, they stand up. And you know what it's going to cause them to do? In my imagination. And they learn it, we hope on their own. Now, if they come and say, we're having problems this year, I'll give you a little help. But I much prefer that they learn it on their own. Thank you, Professor Akoff. You remember who Professor Akoff was, right? We learn more by teaching somebody else and doing it on our own. Oh, I thought you raised your hand and asked a question. You're fixing the tripod. How many middle school band directors do we have in here? Oh my God. Okay, now the Dripping Springs is a unusually fine band that Tamari has. Think about the worst maybe that's a poor way to describe it. The least advanced students in your top band. Would they be able to find two measures that they could work out and do on their own?
In the top band?
Yeah.
Yes.
How about the second band?
2 measures?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any two measures? Can you? I'm fantasizing here. But am I entirely wrong that could be? They do it at a concert, and the parents' chests are just swelling with pride, and their sons and daughters are practicing their instruments for their moment in the sun, and in the process, everybody is learning to do the tetrachords and the arpeggios. It can't be too bad a thing, can it?
No, because most kids never get a solo in middle school, so they would probably jump at the bit to.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Boy, I would love for that last year clarinet player to have the spotlight on. And this was a story I'm going to tell tomorrow. I started to make a little diversion here. Here's one question before we move on. Okay. So we move on. Oh, all right. Oh, rats. I should have brought my flute. Dang it. I thought I was going to need it. I left it at home. Rats. We talked some about using trill fingerings yesterday. All woodwind players do it. So we got a couple of we've got some world-class players of every instrument here, I know. I'll pick on poor Marcelo, which I love to do. So if you have got, let's say you've got a da-da-da-da-da at the top of the staff, B to C sharp, would you be going da-da-da-da-da?
On clarinet?
Yeah.
No.
What would you do?
I would lift my thumb.
Well, I hadn't thought of that. In other words, he would use the trill finger. You could also do the second
Yep.
trill, the top side key, I think.
Yep.
So these are invaluable. Now, you may not do a lot of it with your middle school band. But anyway, this has been, I have to tell you, a source of no little frustration to me. So many band directors don't seem to understand that and don't go to trouble to find out about it. So I've written 5 pieces, I guess, designed to require the clarinets to have to use the forked F sharp, for example, or the side F sharp in the staff, or the saxophonist to use the side C. All the alternate trill fingerings that are required from time to time. And so I guess it was this is what you're about to hear is the 4th one. I got into it, and without intending it at all, I realized after I'd done a little bit, I thought this is starting to take on the character of a march. So hence the name. Not really a march, but sort of a march. And to my great amazement, Southern Music Company is publishing this thing. It should come out pretty soon. But what you see in front of you is the clarinet part and the flute part. And you see the notes at the bottom of the page where I can't even read them from here. I wonder if I don't think I have them here either. But it shows in each measure, clarinet do this fingering here, do this fingering there, and flutes use this B flat here or whatever. And it even shows the fingering. That's on the same page that you see that other thing on the right. I just couldn't get them all on the screen. You get it? But it shows the flutes, the fingering for the 3 B flat, and the parts. It designates which B flat they ought to use where. So here is sort of a march. It's probably going to be pretty loud. You might have to tone it down. I don't know. hardest one, there are three others were easier, but all of them is with the idea of requiring them and showing them how to use alternate fingers that are so vitally important. They're not optional, that are so standard on their instruments. I did this piece with a all-district band in Hobbs, New Mexico a while back. Remember Garrett, the saxophone player, in that first video we saw? Garrett was now in high school, and and we played on the all-region concert, or all-district, they call it there. And so I brought Garrett forward, this is all pre-planned, and told the audience what this is all about. Now there are various different fingerings for different notes on woodwinds. Some work better in certain instances, others work better in different instances. And we're going to let Garrett show you one of them here, so you understand what this piece is all about. Garrett, play your B to C above the staff, back and forth as fast as you can go with the regular finger. So he goes, blah, 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 blah. That's scores. Oh, okay, let's try the side key, Garrett. Duddy, huddy, 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 huddy. So the audience gets an idea of what that's all about. And I think it does serve a purpose. Any questions? Okay.
Can I
Oh,
just-
right, we got a question.
Well, it's a comment. I was just gonna make sure they know that a lot of the duets that you wrote in trios and quartets and all that are on Band Directors Talk Shop. So if you're watching this and you're like, well, I need stuff that's at my level, when we did it, we tried to pick one or two, I think 2 of each one at each level. So, and there's 2 sets, I think there's like over 50 ensembles. So if you go on Band Directors Talk Shop and search Garner, the Garner Ensemble Project will come up. He has hundreds, but you can easily
Yes,
print
I
a
do.
good number, lots of variety, lots of different difficulty levels.
And you could do it with instruments of any combination, of course. Or piccolo and tuba duets, sure, we got you covered. Okie dokie. Moving ahead. Well, this next one you're going to be quite familiar with. This was the honors band a few years ago. So you see, that was in the key of A. We'd also done it, I'm sure, in B flat. And having done it in both the key, somebody finish this thought for me. Having done the 3-note chorale like that, in both the key of B flat and key of A, enabled us to what?
Cover all 12 pitches.
Wow, who said that?
Travis
Michael
Barney.
Roberts.
Travis Barney.
Yeah, every note of chromatic scale. And you specify with the octave. We're not doing 7 notes in our everyday chorale. We cover the whole work. And what is the advantage of singing it anyway? We want them to know what that note sounds like before they play it. Just as you do when you play your instrument. And every highly skilled player does. That's par for the course. Okie dokie. Are we all right so far? We're down to rehearsal strategies for intonation.
Dr. Garner.
Sir, yes, sir.
Do you happen to have a playing example of the 878?
Have what?
Do you have a playing example of the 878 of the chorale? You know chorale?
A what example?
Playing like a video example?
Oh, not on here, no.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Honor Band will do it at 8:30 tomorrow morning.
Pardon?
The Honor Band will do it tomorrow morning at 8:30.
Okay. Well, I did another one where it goes through Old 12 key and there's a four measure Bach chorale within each one in whatever key it was.
But it starts with the regular 3-note.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've got
Yeah, well, that's been very good to know. Very good to know. How much time we got?
you have 12 minutes.
Okay. So let's see. Rehearsal strategies. You can read this on your own. Here's the best way to use a tuner, in my opinion. I should preface everything with that because that's what it is. It's not hard and stone, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth. Any of you know us have an app called Melodyne, Melodyne. Tell us about Melodyne.
It takes, you can put in vocal pieces or notes and it'll change it into regular notes. You can tune it, you can move notes around.
And it'll tell you precisely how many cents or sharp or flat every single note is. I've recorded a lot of professional groups, small ensembles, and it shows you exactly, well, this A is 4 cents flat, or C sharp is 6 cents sharp, or whatever. You know precisely what it is. I can tell you, my friends, nobody plays a tune all the time. It doesn't happen. But it may sound, if you successful group, sound wonderful. So you look at that, oh my gosh, they're way off now. So back to the tuner, we're not trying to get that needle to stand up straight for everybody on every note. If you and I are trying to play a note in tune, what I might do is have you play the note while I look at the tuner and you don't see it. Oh, okay, she's 4 cents sharp. That's where I need to be. Maybe she's a clarinet player and I'm the flute player. Here's the thing. The clarinet is the least flexible of instruments. A lot of people, I know a guy that said when the harmony director first came up, you listen to what they call pure intonation, it's really just intonation. And they're, oh, it sounds so good. And then you listen to equal intonation, oh, so bad. It's very dramatic on the harmony director, not so much so with actual instruments. And I know of at least one band director, probably many, that heard that and said, well, that's settled, and my band's going to play in just temperament from now on. It can't happen. So you've got to get the clarinet to raise its minor third by 16 cents. Well, we got two great clarinet players sitting right here in view. How much luck are you going to have raising any pitch on your instrument 16 cents?
No.
It ain't going to happen.
No.
Because if they're doing it the right way, they're already at the top of the pitch.
Yeah.
They might be able to make some kind of fingering adjustment. But even if they were able to do that, that assumes that whoever's playing the root of the chord is going to be at 0. Forget that.
Yeah.
Now, I've done that a few times. We did that with the WT band last year I was out here to help a bit on one of their pieces. On the last chord, we did make some adjustments so that it was in perfect just temperament. And it made a bit of difference possibly, but it requires a lot of fingering changes, sometimes even leaving people out. So forget that, it is not going to happen. So the best way to use a tuner is for comparative purposes, not trying to get that needle to stand up straight all the time. Are you with me? What do you understand what I'm saying? Okie dokie. Let's see, is there anything else we need to say here? I think everything else is self.
Dr. Garner, there's an online question about the 6-second tryout, and I think a lot
Oh.
of these people don't know about
Now,
that.
do you remember me telling you about James Middleton and Bill Robinson yesterday in Norman, Oklahoma? Two of the most brilliant, creative, innovative band directors ever. And when James Middleton came and did his clinic that I told you about, where I heard down press up for the first time, they did a 6-second tryout every day with their beginners. Okay, gang, tomorrow we're going to play measures 1 through 4 or whatever, line 27 here. And it's 6 seconds. Okay, you made a 76, 84, 92, whatever. And so it's powerful motivation and it's very quick. 6-second tryout is absolute dynamite. Nobody does it anymore. Well, maybe they do and I don't know about it. But boy, if you're teaching beginners, that is a fantastic idea in my opinion. Anything else?
Can you explain? So they would play like one measure, 2 beats later, the next kid plays, right? Or 4 beats later?
Well, more than one measure probably. But, and Middleton said, now he taught at 3 or 4 different schools. The kids knew that they were going to start each day. And he said he would be running down the hall because he might get there a minute after the tardy bell or something. He's running down the hall and as soon as he gets within earshot of the band room, he says, 1, 2, ready, play! And by the time he's in the room, they're halfway through the line. This guy, both of them, Robinson and Middleton, except for one teacher, they got utterly brilliant. By the way, I had the nicest surprise today. I worked with the concert high school flutes. That's third band. 12 or 13 students in there. I said, tell me something. This is right at the beginning. How many of you are accustomed to counting 1 take, 2 take? Guess what? Every hand went up. I broke into tears. I said, how many of you had a band director went to WT? A lot of hands went up. Anything else, Tamara? Okay. Yeah, the second time tryout is absolutely dynamite. Do you do it?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I used to do it a lot more at Nimitz. We would do it every day almost.
All right, best way to do it, tuner. Let's see. A few thoughts about beginners. 6-second tryout. Yeah, and they did the key signature check. 1 flat, key of F, 2 flats, key of B flat, 3 flats, key of E flat. They would do the key signature check every day too. This is again Middleton and Robinson. And they did breath impulse. I thought that was a stupid thing I ever heard of when I first heard of it. So they're going, da, ah, da, ah, ah. Oh, I thought, oh my gosh. And I got to talk to Bill Robinson about it one time. I was really skeptical. I said, how do you turn it off? He said, they just don't talk about it anymore. Guess what? It's true. What is the value of it? It teaches kids how to move air through the horn. Breath impulse system is dynamite. And I know of some people, some of you do, and maybe some of you do it, that have achieved miraculous results with it. Capitalizing on reducing apprehension, we talked about that. The three-way connection between, no, that's all right. Testing criteria, you can read that on your own, we don't have to talk about it, I don't think. And then this perfect rehearsal thing goes on and on and on. A few random, let's see. Yeah, I think some of this is worth mentioning right quickly. Yes, we talked about this at great length. Use your instrument for Pete's sake. We talked about this at great length. Why are we doing this? It ain't for you or me, it's for the students. The 3 greatest lessons, okay, I ever learned. I told you about the one by Gerald. Maybe I need to talk about this tomorrow when you, oh, what the heck. My first year, I was so intent on being kind, respectful of the students, treating them with dignity and respect. I still believe in that with all my heart. But I was such a pushover. They really took advantage of that. Then I tried to get control. I really couldn't very well. What they say is you can't start off easy and then get hard. It's true. So I was so determined the next year, boy, because you get a little reprieve during that summer break. I really cracked down hard, man. Had all sorts of rules. I was being really a Simon the Greek. It was working great, except I was not sleeping well. I thought I was turning into a person I did not want to be. One of the things they had to do when they left the room, I would stand on the opposite side of the band room door, arms crossed, and my sternest look on my face. Stay in line and no talking. And they did. So while I was doing that one day, Sweet Kay Austin, little clarinet player, dropped down the line and walked over to me and said these exact words, I swear to you. You know, Mr. Garner, everybody likes you a lot better this year than they did last year. Oh, what? Last year I was such a pushover, and this year I was such a mean guy. They like me better. That's when I realized, yeah, kids do like order. But then I was able to lighten up later and be a lot more human, and it was fine. It was fun. That's what I learned. Now here's the other lesson. Larry Glazner. I, of course, played professionally a lot of flute, oboe, clarinet. Flute, saxophone, clarinet, a lot. I played a little oboe in the Air Force, but the mere sight of a bassoon was enough to make my heart tremble in fear. It didn't look like any of the stuff I knew. So if I started a bassoon player, here's where I start. The bassoon player. Here's your bassoon. Here's the fingering chart. Bye now. That's our exaggeration. So we had this incredible challenge program going on. I don't know why people don't do that anymore. You're missing a big bet. Oh, and the challenge thing was big. It was hard. You could challenge anybody in your section, and you trade chairs if you want. Last year meets first year, last year. And they could challenge on anything. It didn't have to be bad music, any music at all. It had to include a chromatic scale, full range. We're talking about the top band. Full range of the chromatic scale. Had to be the scale of the week out of the QED book. Here's the way it went. I'm sorry, I didn't bring my flute. Here's the QED scale. Dum da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da dee da 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 dee da da dee da dee da 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 da. So it starts in the key of B flat, and goes to the circle of fourth. Maybe this week the scale of the week is F sharp, okay? And if it's for the first part, it had to be from memory. So that was the trial. Well, anyway, the kids worked tryout crazy. It was working fantastically. And they were practicing our hearts out. There weren't a whole lot of cell phones back. One day Larry Glazier, now Larry, in spite of no instruction from me, whatever, Larry took his bassoon as a 7th grader, and man, he got it figured out. He was going like a house on fire. So he's a 9th grader now. He comes up to me, he said, "Could I challenge you?" I said, "What are you talking about, Larry?" He said, "Well, Mike, second year, not nearly as good as he, and he's a little younger. Mike won't challenge me. I want to get in on the fun. I thought maybe I could challenge you." I said, "Larry, I can't play bassoon." Guess what he said? "Well, you could learn." I thought, what are you telling me, God? So, very heavy heart, I said, "Okay, but you're going to have to give me some time." I took a bassoon and a fingering chart home. Went down to the music store, bought a reed, called my buddy Keith McCarty, who was the entire woodwind faculty at Texas Tech at that time. He was a clarinet player. His godfather, one of my children, we were very close friends. I said, "Hey, Keith, do you know anything about bassoon?" He said, "Ah, a little bit. I took a little bassoon at University of Illinois." "Well, if I come out, could you give me some help?" He said, "Sure, come on out." Didn't take long because they didn't know much, but it was help. There was no way he challenged me, by the way, on his solo. It was a class 1 solo called Pull Chanel. I practiced. There was no way I was going to lose that tryout. Come on. I was practicing really hard. And about a month later, I said, "Okay, Larry, I'm ready." I'm going to clean his clock, boy. So I picked out 2 or 3, maybe 4 first-year players, had them turn their backs, and we played the challenge. Played the QED scale, chromatic scale, Polish Chanel. I lost. You know what I did? I challenged that sucker right back. I won! He challenged me back. I swear to you, this was early in the year. Larry and I, honestly, had a challenge every week. And we kind of split half and half. He was about half-time. At the end of that year, he was hardest of a 9th grade bassoon player. I don't think he ever had a lesson. He went ahead then to be an 3-year All-Stater. And I became a halfway decent bassoon player. A pretty good one, actually. So I think about Larry all the time. A few years ago, I could have tracked that sucker down. It's the day of the internet. I found him. He was a lawyer in Levelland, Texas. And he died about a month before. Sorry. 2003. I called his law office 3 or 4 days ago just to confirm. And the lady on the phone said she had been in that law office the longest. She didn't know him, but she told me confirmed when he had died, and that's all she could tell me. But I looked on White Pages and I found his wife. I called her and left a message, but she never called back. So those are the 3 big lessons. Kay, Larry, Gerald. What an instructive year that was for me. Well, I don't know if it was all the same year. Actually, I was going to save that story for tomorrow, but I just had to tell it. Okay, I've got one more slide to go through. You remember the
Yeah.
My son Brad, with several summers teaching at the Wild Acres Festival, Flute Festival. I'm not sure what state it is, it's someplace up in the east. Anybody know? It's a big deal. And his great flutist, she's lives in she's from South Africa, I think, but lives in England. And she sent him what you're about to hear, that she wrote based on Oh, wait a minute. This was the great idea I had. I had one. And this works fantastically. So you take whatever piece you're going to play, you take several excerpts out of it, the hard stuff, and you put it on Finale or Sibelius or whatever notation program you use. Make it for every instrument. And clarinets have a hard lick. Guess what? The tubas got to play it too. They don't have to sit there bored out of their skull. And boy, I see a certain tuba player doing this right now. Try not to throw your neck out of joint there. So this was, I don't remember the name of the tune. I did this with the honors band a few years ago. And this was for a clinic, I guess, camp I was going to do. And so I told the tuba players, look, you guys pick out any one of these pieces. I did that on every piece. You guys pick out one of these pieces. And I'm going to take a video of it tomorrow. You do whatever you want to do. You're not going to get any instruction from me. So here they are. And this is a clarinet lick from whatever piece it was. I'm sorry, I don't remember. Listen to this. Clarinet part. Tuba players. They're not just playing F and B flat. Well, occasionally E flat. You get to play some of those too. This is one of the best things I've ever done. I've done this for quite a few years. Okay, one more. Now, back to this young lady that was in Brad's flute classes for a few years, I think, at Wild Acres. And she wrote this piece and sent it to me. Oh, we can read her.
We can skip.
Call for it. Yeah, here it is. She called, look at the title. Is that brilliant? I think it's just the cleverest and well played. My gosh, what a player she is. Okay, I know we're out of time. Any quick questions?
You said there was a Dropbox link for a lot of the chroma craze and tetrachord stuff you had.
Yeah, who all is, I've seen some of it. Well, Tamarie has it.
What?
Dropbox for chroma craze and tetrachords.
I will see what I can get. You sent me some stuff, but I have to like compile everything into a PDF. I don't remember tetrachords, but you sent me the chromatic stuff.
Oh, okay. Did I ever send it to her?
Mhm.
if you want something specific, if you'll email me, and then I'll make sure I get it, and then I have to, a lot of his stuff, like each thing's a different file, so then I have to put it all in one file so I can upload it for the online people too, so.
Anything else? We're glad you guys, how many of you, how many Texans have we got here? Let's see, Texans. How many of you read the yellow board with any regularity? The yellow board, Texas chat box? Yeah, post something about the band camp. Tell them how wonderful it is. I don't know why it never happened. Yellow board is, well, in fact, anybody can contribute to it. It's a Texas band director chat group, the yellow board. It's really interesting. I've read so many things that are so incredibly insightful and incredibly well written. It's just takes your breath away. I've also read a lot of them. Did this person ever finish third grade English class? How did they get a college degree? It is rather amazing, but you do see some in there that are really amazing and good too. Well, thank you so much. I think we are through.